Montana's political front. As anticipated, U.S. Representative Matt Rosendale has officially entered the race for the U.S. Senate, filing paperwork with the Montana Secretary of State this morning. MTN senior political reporter Jonathan Ambarian is in Helena with the very latest.
After months of speculation, Congressman Matt Rosendale officially announced his long-expected run for Montana's U.S. Senate seat Friday, setting up what's likely to be a contentious race for the Republican nomination.
Okay, it's official.
Rosendale filed his candidacy Friday morning at the Montana Secretary of State's office. He was joined by several dozen supporters, including a number of staunchly conservative state lawmakers. For weeks, Rosendale has been increasingly hinting he'd jump into the Senate race. In his 2 terms in Congress, he's pushed back against GOP House leadership, and now he's criticized Senate Republicans as well. Many state and national Republican leaders, including Senator Steve Daines, have lined up behind Gallatin County businessman and Navy veteran Tim Sheehy for Senate, saying he's the strongest choice to defeat Democratic Senator Jon Tester. But Rosendale says he believes Republican primary voters, not leaders, should make that decision, and he'll stand on his conservative record in Congress.
I'm anticipating that Mitch McConnell and the Senate committee is going to probably in about 10 minutes begin their attacks on Matt Rosendale, and I'm fully prepared for that.
Former Secretary of State Brad Johnson has also filed for the Republican nomination for Senate. Rosendale's decision also confirms that his Eastern District congressional seat will be open this year. At least 8 Republicans have expressed interest in running for that position, and more are likely to jump in. In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
Rosendale will face a tough primary challenge from Tim Sheehy, who has the support of many of the state's top Republican leaders. His campaign is responding to the news today, saying, quote, "As a political outsider, Tim Sheehy has led men and women in war and business, winning America's toughest battles and creating hundreds of Montana jobs." Rosendale already lost to Jon Tester by 3.5% in 2018, giving Tester the biggest victory of his career and marking the first time Tester won with a majority vote in the general election. Several candidates have already expressed their intentions to run for Rosendale's current congressional seat, including State Auditor Troy Downing, Superintendent of Public Instruction Elsie Arntzen, former State Senator Rick Holden, State Senate President Pro Tem Ken Bogner, and now former Congressman Denny Rehberg has also announced he may jump into the crowded race. MTN's Russ Riesinger sat down with Rehberg and has more.
Hadn't thought about it, and when they called Friday night, they said, whoa. People still know you, and some of them still like you. So they got me thinking about it.
Well, former Montana Congressman Denny Rehberg says he can't confirm whether current Congressman Matt Rosendale will make a run for Senate. He sounded a lot like a candidate when I talked to him Thursday night.
And I thoroughly enjoyed representing the people of Montana in Congress. So do I have the vigor and enthusiasm? Absolutely.
A Billings native, Rehberg served as a state representative, lieutenant governor, and Montana's then lone congressman from 2000 to 2012, eventually departing politics after he unsuccessfully challenged Democratic Senator Jon Tester for the U.S. Senate. He went on to open several fast food franchises in Montana.
The inflation is killing average middle-class Americans, and that's going to be a huge issue. If I do decide to do this, I'm going to jump right in the middle of it, and I can use personal experiences of having been out of Congress in small business and having to deal with the price increases and the inflation that's occurring.
Rehberg says the other issue that concerns him the most is what's happening on the southern border. He blames President Biden.
Billings, Montana. You look at the violence that's going on in Billings, you're starting to see the cartels move in, the gangs move in, and so, can I have an influence? I think I can.
Congress has become even more divided since Rehberg last served, but he believes he can form coalitions to get things done. I also wanted to know his thoughts about former President Donald Trump, who's been a part of that division.
So while we may not necessarily like his personality, he hires good people, and he gets rid of people that either disagree with him or he doesn't think is doing a good job. But personally, I can tell you, the people I worked with in the Trump administration were top-notch.
Rehberg will join a crowded field of Republican candidates vying for Rosendale's seat if he decides to run. The deadline to make that decision is just over a month away.
I'm happy to go back to Washington and fight the good fight. Look forward to representing Montana.